Good afternoon, I'm Karen Holmes Ward. We've assembled a new reading list highlighting her story, 3 books, including a memoir, a biography, and a collection of essays. And we're going to begin with HBCU Made, a celebration of the Black college experience. It's a volume of stories about how historically Black colleges and universities have shaped the lives of some very notable people, including our next guest, author and journalist Ayesha Rascoe. She's the host of NPR Weekend Edition Sunday and NPR's Up First. Hi, Ayesha, how are you?
I'm good.
Good
Thanks
to
so much
see
for
you.
having me.
Good to see you. So we begin with a pilgrimage to a place called the Mecca to walk the same path as world leaders, performers such as Thurgood Marshall, Vice President Kamala Harris, Felicia Rashad. Howard University is where many, including you, found their voice. What does HBCU Made mean to you?
For me to be HBCU made, it really means to be a person who was in an environment where they were really able to thrive and be their own self. A Black person in the US, oftentimes you are dealing with so many distractions that come along with racism, with just defending your right to be in a space, defending your humanity. But at HBCUs, you are able to they're kind of incubators where you can be poured into and told that you can be anything that you want to be. It's not about, your race. It's about your dreams and your ambitions. And, you are not held back by who you are. In fact, you are boosted by who you are. And you see all of these people who came before you who did amazing things. And so I think to be HBCU made is to really walk in your purpose and to figure out what that is.
Now, you could have written a whole book about your own experience at Howard. What inspired you to bring in the perspectives of so many well-known people like Oprah Winfrey, former Georgia gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams, musician Branford Marsalis? Lots of great stories here. What inspired you to bring those people into this volume?
I really wanted this to be a love story or a love letter to HBCUs. And I felt like, to just have my story, yeah, everyone has their individual story, but I felt like if you could bring together more than a dozen, stories, you could get a small slice of what it means to attend an HBCU, really kind of testimonies of how going to an HBCU had shaped these people's lives, and these people went on to really make a huge difference in the world. So I wanted this book to kind of just give a taste of how HBCUs have made the world a better place.
Now, you've said that you were shy when you were younger, introverted. What motivated you to go into a profession where you speak to strangers, leaders, power brokers? Was it Howard University's great communications school?
I wish I could say that I actually started way before, way back in middle school. I don't know what made me decide that I would be able to do this. Like I took an aptitude test. It said I'd be good at journalism. And I said, well, if this sounds good, I love reading, I love history, this would work for me. But I will say that it was at Howard where my love for journalism was really cemented. I worked for the student newspaper there. I became editor in chief of the Hilltop, and it really became my life. It was my life, my passion, and I learned so much about being a journalist at Howard University.
Now, you write about what it means to, quote, be true to your work and true to your community. You're talking about reporting truthfully on institutions. So how has that been challenging in your career, both at Howard, writing for the campus newspaper, and since then on NPR?
Think that what I was talking about there is that sometimes you have to report on things you love, say like when I was reporting on Howard University, when I was at school, but you're not always painting, you're not, the truth isn't always pretty. Sometimes it's complicated and messy. And so when I'm telling an accurate story, it may not be putting the school in the best light. But what I felt like was, if you love something, you want to hold it accountable. And I say in the book that a legacy is something to live up to. It's not something to coast on. And so, if you love an institution, if you love a community, that it's okay to tell the truth and not try to sweep things under the rug, because then and only then can that institution try to work to be the best that it can be. And so I think that's what I try to do in general when it comes to government, when it comes to reporting on different communities. I want to be truthful and accurate and give the full context, but I don't want to shy away from hard truths because they make some people uncomfortable.
Just a little bit of history here. HBCUs, or historically black colleges and universities, were started because of exclusion from PWIs, known as predominantly white institutions. What stories did people share about what diversity and inclusion means within the institutions?
Well, the thing about HBCUs is even though they were started because of exclusion, HBCUs are actually the only colleges and universities in the US that never were excluding. Like they did not exclude other races. People of all genders could attend. Most of them, some of them were single gender, but like these were some of the only places where everyone could come and get an education. And so I always think that's important to point out. But also within HBCUs, you have a real diversity. You have Black people from all over the world, right? You have from the continent of Africa, from the Caribbean, from all over the country. You have different people from different economic backgrounds, different political ideologies. And so sometimes I think when people think about HBCUs, they think that they are a monolithic place. But when you actually go to an HBCU, you see how the Black community is not monolithic.
That's
and
right.
that's all sorts of perspectives within the Black community, and you see that at HBCUs.
Now, there are around 100 HBCUs in the country for Black students to choose from. Legend has it that enrollment went up after the TV series A Different World. What's your advice for why they should choose an HBCU?
Yes, I mean, A Different World was talked about so much in the book. We had to cut it out of some of the essays because at a certain point, I felt like people were going to think we were promoting the show. But it was amazing how that piece of pop culture really inspired so many people to consider an HBCU. And I think now, with Kamala Harris, the vice president, who went to Howard University, and all of this talk about, really supporting Black institutions and building back our own communities, you see a real resurgence and interest in HBCUs. And I think that it is very important to continue to support these institutions because of all the work that they've been able to do and the way that they've been able to allow Black students to be all that they can be.
Aisha Rasco, thank you so much for joining us. Tell us about your book. It's called HBCU Made, a celebration of the Black college experience.